Today we're going to go over a simple modification that any 4x4 enthusiast should perform to their vehicle to keep their axles healthy and working for the miles to come. Coming up.
A bad day. That's the perfect. Yeah!
My name's Drew and this is Evergreen Overland. On this channel we do reviews on camping and overland gear, we hone our outdoor cooking skills and techniques, and we showcase 4x4 vehicle modifications like the one we're going to talk about today. There's a fair amount of things that need to be serviced and maintained on any vehicle, especially is true when you're talking about an off-road vehicle that's going to take you way out into the backwoods in remote situations where help and assistance might not be as easy to come by. Along with all of your transmission and your engine maintenance and all that kind of stuff, your wearable components like your tires, it's also important to make sure that the water and the muck and the elements that you're out playing around in are not intruding into any components that might incur some damage if a seal was to break down. Obviously, having your tires in good working, proper condition is super important. They're the one part of your vehicle that comes in contact with the terrain that you're in. But what's powering those tires, your back axle and the differential in it, is something you should probably be taking a look at as well. Now, your axles are definitely something you want to make sure are in tip-top working condition, because without your axles working properly, your tires aren't going to do you a hell of a lot of good. One thing your axles do when they're operating is they start to generate some heat. And with that heat comes positive pressure from inside your axle housing. That positive pressure has to have somewhere to go. And actually on your axle, there's a little one-way breather valve that helps evacuate that air so it doesn't end up blowing out your axle seals. Sometimes when you're out in the mud and the muck, your axle breather cap can actually get plugged with dirt and debris, causing the positive pressure in your axles to go to the path of least resistance, which typically is going to be your axle seals on either end. One way to really remedy this situation is to relocate your axle breather cap somewhere up in the vehicle where it's going to be kept out of the elements a lot more consistently. They sell kits to make it really simple to do just that. I'll link a few in the description section below. That's what I've got right here. Pretty straightforward. It comes a new one-way breather cap right there. You can breathe out, but you can't breathe in. A brass nipple with the proper, I wonder if that's right or not. A brass nipple that will thread into the axle housing where your factory breather valve was installed. A couple of hose clamps and a length of thick tubing to relocate up and out of the way. Let's get under the truck and hope this is going to be a super quick install. All right, so first things first here, I'm going to show you guys. Here's your differential breather valve right here. Mine doesn't seem to be seized up yet, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of cleaning up on it just to avoid any debris going down in there as much as possible when I pop it open. I think all I'm going to need is a deep 14mm socket. Cool. Let's go make sure those are the same, because this one not quite wanting to thread in there as smoothly as I had hoped. Well, in true fashion, nothing is ever easy and Murphy's Law strikes again. Here's this bad boy. Not sure what exactly the diameter of this is, but it is definitely smaller than the brass fitting that this kit came with. And actually now I'm noticing that the tube, which is actually a piece of fuel line that this kit came with, is not going to be adequate length to relocate the breather valve up high and where I want to. The reality is, wasted 25 bucks. I bought this kit a year and a half ago probably. Kind of a bummer. It looks like I'm going to the hardware store or the auto store to pick up some more materials. Guess I'll be back when I'm done with that. Okay, one day later, knock on wood, hopefully I'll be able to finish up this supposed quick install. I went to the Toyota dealership and got this, which is a part that I found on a couple of different forums from people who have done this exact mod. I thought I got this kit from Marlin Crawler, and I actually got it from Low Range Off-Road. Yeah, I emailed them today. I got the kit like 2 years ago in August. So I emailed them today just to check to see if they could give me a credit or something like that, because the kit is not right. I think I found the part I actually need to do this install. This guy right here looks to be the right thread. And then trading out the too short 5-foot fuel line with a 7-foot chunk should hopefully solve my problem on being able to reach where I want to put this thing. Nice. I think that's gonna work just fine. Well, this one I found is a 12 millimeter. So this is going to be a pretty tight fit. I don't really want to use grease on this to get this on there because I just don't want it to be prone to sliding off or wanting to slide off. I actually have some really hot water right here. I'm just going to soak this hose to make it a little bit more malleable for a few seconds. Shake it until no more water comes off. All the way down. Looking good to go there. I'm going to leave a little bit of slack here to allow for some droop in the suspension. But I'm going to run this up where all the brake lines are going and then go around kind of where the support cross member is and feed it up and over here, up and around, and then up into this cavity up there, which is actually where the tail light assembly is. So I'm gonna go ahead and crawl out, disconnect the tail light, pull that out and see if I can fish the fuel line up through the hole. Got that popped away, and there is my fuel line right there. Got my aftermarket one-way differential breather valve right here. And then another little hose clamp for the system. I'm gonna do the same thing. Soak this in some hot water for a couple of seconds. Make sure your clamp's on. Jam your breather valve on there. Move the clamp back up. There she is. Then there's this little support beam here. I'm actually gonna tuck this away behind there. That way I know it's gonna be kind of out of the way for the headlight assembly to come in contact with it. We'll just give it a little bit more protection for any water and mud and anything that might get up into here, which there shouldn't be much. There it is up in there. Fed down through the bottom. Go back underneath with some more zip ties and secure it to the wires that are down there. Button it all up. Just gonna loosely zip tie these so it keeps it up out of the way. Not too tight where it's constricting or cutting into the fuel line here. When I say fuel line, obviously it's not running fuel through it. That's just the type of PCV line, I think is what it is, that I used. All right, taking a look at the final angle of it all, it has a fair amount of slack in there. I'm really gonna have to test it at full droop and see to make sure it has enough give so it's not gonna pull off. I think 7 feet is actually gonna be probably just perfect for this, but when you go to do this, maybe you should grab an 8-foot chunk and cut it down to exactly where you think it needs to be. Well, as with most of my jobs, they don't go according to plan, but honestly, this is one thing that anybody with any small amount of mechanical skill can take on for themselves, and it'll make a big difference in just the longevity of your gears and your axle down the road for sure. Hey, I appreciate you watching the video today. If you liked it, please consider hitting the like button to let me know I've done a good job. You can hit the subscribe button to be notified when I put out a new video. As with all my videos, I'll put links in the description section below to anything I used in the video. Honestly, I'm just going to link some things over to Amazon. I really wouldn't recommend buying a kit. It's probably just as cheap or just as easy to source the pieces online, so I'll link to all those in the description section below. If you have any comments or questions, definitely throw them below. I love interacting with you guys and kind of building out this community a little bit. If you want to learn more about us, you can follow me over on Instagram at EvergreenOverland, as well as evergreenoverland.com. Have a good day.